Chair recognizes that the Lenoir County Board of Education has established a quorum and calls the March 7th, 2022 regular monthly board meeting to order. Chair recognizes Mr. Nick Harvey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let us pray. May the words spoken in this room tonight be beneficial to the students, parents, staff, and administrators in our school system. And may we be led by the guiding principle to always base our decisions on the best interests of our young people. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Harvey. Please join me in the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Chair recognizes Mr. Brent Williams to present the agenda for tonight's meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the board, it is my honor and privilege tonight to present to you for your consideration and hopefully your approval tonight's agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Is there a recommendation or motion pertaining to the agenda?
Move to accept the agenda as presented.
Motion by Mr. Davis. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Woods. We got a motion by Mr. Davis and a second by Mr. Woods to approve the board agenda as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, the chair will call for the vote. All in favor of the motion as stated, please signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. The agenda is set for tonight. Let's see. First of all, I would like to traditionally introduce our elected officials, and I do believe I saw Mr. Preston Harris, County Commissioner, is here with us tonight. And if there's anyone else in the audience that is an elected official I didn't recognize, okay. Appreciate you being with us, Mr. Harris.
Yes, sir.
I do have a couple of comments I would like to make for tonight. I would ask that each board member have their questions ready for the presenters. I would also ask that you request to be recognized before your questions. This will help facilitate an orderly, timely, efficient, and effective meeting. We would like to continue to thank all of the staff and employees, regardless of job description, of the Lenoir County Public School System for the outstanding commitment, dedication, and hard work that has gone and continues to go into making the students of Lenoir County Public Schools as successful as possible under the extraordinary circumstances that existed during the last school year and continues to exist during the current school year. We want to assure all stakeholders that the Lenoir County Board of Education and administration will commit to trying to do everything possible to provide for a safe and healthy environment for students, staff, and community. We not only want to provide a quality education for students, but a safe environment for our students, teachers, and staff in order to foster learning and success. An example of this will be recognized tonight and honored. I'd like to highlight a couple of good things happening in the Lenoir County Public School System that will be shared by Mr. Williams, Mrs. Herring, and Ms. Keith. We would like to congratulate our teachers and staff for continuing to excel in grant writing and receiving additional resources and funds to help facilitate learning in our classroom. We also would like to congratulate the Lenoir County Public School System for yet another recognition for the proper handling and use of federal funds within the federal program department. And we also would like to congratulate the Lenoir County Public School System for being chosen to present yet again at another state level conference. That will conclude my comments. Chair recognizes Mr. Brent Williams for his report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To pick up where on the chair's comments, I also will say that I want to thank all of the parents here tonight and our teachers here tonight and administrators here tonight. There's no question that this road, this path every day for us, first with modified weeks, first fully remote, then 2 days a week, then 4 days a week, and this week this year fully face-to-face. It's been a difficult time for all, and I say it's still difficult for our teachers every day, for our students every day. I'm not only a school system leader, but a parent of 2 LCPS children. I sit at the dinner table every night and we talk about school and we work on homework, and it's book, bath, bed, just that series just like you guys have, and the fundraiser thing and getting the note out of the book bag and dealing with when is the project due and all that, and what do you need for school tomorrow. So tonight I say to our teachers, thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for your hard work. These are difficult days, and everybody's in a different place, and depending on, what you're struggling with. I know what my children are struggling with, and they're mastering some things very well, and they're struggling with other things, and they're really excelling over here, but in this area, they might be struggling. And our teachers are doing a great job with that. Our students are doing a great job with that. And our students are outstanding. We have the best students anywhere, and their work shows that. What our teachers are reporting and what our principals and other administrators are reporting is that our kids are making progress at an unprecedented pace. Yes, we were out of school in an unprecedented way. Yes, we missed learning, and there was learning, and I won't say learning loss, it was learning interrupted for a long time, or modified learning. But our teachers have risen to that challenge day in and day out. Our parents have, you all have had to do more in the way of teaching and learning than ever before in my 30 years in this business. So to the parents here tonight, I thank you for not only sharing your young people with us every day, but for what you've done to rise to this challenge of helping our kids every day to be all that they can be in spite of these challenges that no other generation has had to deal with. So we'll continue to move forward together. We'll continue to rise together. We'll continue to excel together. You'll have some examples of that tonight, but I wanted to begin with that thank you. So last week I was honored to serve as a non-voting member on a panel that interviewed our Teacher of the Year candidates from all 17 of our schools. This was the first step in selecting Lenoir County's Teacher of the Year for 2022-2023. It was a difficult task choosing from among so many deserving candidates, but we managed to narrow the field to just 3 candidates. Now, honestly, it could have been the final 10 out of 17 or the final 17 out of 17. Every single person in that room impressed dramatically and set forth such an air of passion for learning and for kids and for serving the kids in this district and just loving what they do and having that show in the classrooms, and we were really, really impressed. Our 3 finalists among all of those outstanding stars came out to be Jordan Hudson, a physical education teacher at Northwest Elementary School, Miss Pauline Lindo, a 7th grade math teacher at E.B. Frink Middle School, and Miss Candace Tillman Rouse, a 3rd grade teacher at Northeast Elementary School. One of them will be announced as the LCPS Teacher of the Year at our Employee Recognition Banquet in April. At that time, we will also recognize the Teacher of the Year honorees from all of our schools, in addition to the 3 finalists. Those outstanding educators are Stephanie Sumner from South Lenoir High School, Mary Hatcher from Woodington Middle School, Taylor Davis from Southwood Elementary School, Kayla Varnell from North Lenoir High School, Reagan Crowley from Banks Elementary School, Crystal Bryant from Rochelle Middle School, Ramon Jones from LaGrange Elementary School, Emily Peterson from Kensington High School, Portia Bell from Lenoir County Early College High School, Meredith Criswell from Contenia Savannah K-8 School, Sharon Dillinger from Moss Hill Elementary School, Lakeisha Moore from Southeast Elementary School, Lindsay Marshburn from Pink Hill Elementary School, and Jonathan Huntley from Lenoir County Learning Academy. Let us give all of them a round of applause, please. And now I would like to ask our board chair to join me up front here, and we will ask our 3 finalists to come forward and we will recognize them. We have a certificate for each, and we'd like to take a photograph with the board chair, with me and the 3 finalists here. But again, our 3 finalists are Miss Jordan Hudson, physical education teacher at Northwest Elementary School. Miss Hudson, if you come forward, please. Miss Pauline Lindo, 7th grade math teacher, E.B. Frink Middle School. And Miss Candace Tillman Rouse, 3rd grade teacher at Northeast Elementary School. The team from Woodington Middle School returned to the winner's circle last week in the district's annual middle school Battle of the Books competition. Woodington's teams have won the event, listen to this, 9 times out of the last 11 outings. As county winners, this year's team will represent the district in the regional Battle of the Books on March 22nd. Good luck and congratulations to team members. Now I will ask them to come forward. All of our team members are here except 2 of them, and I thank you to the kids and the parents for coming tonight. Board of Education, when I was in middle school, oh wow, it would have been intimidating to come to a Board of Education meeting, so I'm glad you're here, and we're going to try to make it low stress chest for you. We'll have you come up and we'll take a photograph, so just come up and line up here, and then we have certificates for you, and I'll ask Mr. Philippi, principal of Woodington Middle School, to come in as well, and if anyone, if Ms. Pyro's here too, she can come up. But we'll ask Mr. Philippi to come forward too. But this Woodington team has been a dominant team. So what I'm going to do is ask any of them after we take our photograph, and we'll have your parents stand as you're recognized as well. And moms and dads, if any of y'all would like to come up and get in the picture, you're welcome to do that as well. But I won't put you on the spot with that, but at least stand when the kids are called and let us recognize you too, because we're proud of these young people. We're proud and thankful that you share them with us every day, and proud of what they continue to accomplish. Love those medals, but more important, I love the learning behind those medals. So at this time, if JT Gautier would come forward, please. Kaylee Jones. Give Kaylee a round of applause. Aiden Lawson. Aiden. Give Aiden a round of applause. And remember, parents, we want you to stand too. It takes all of us, so you can be recognized as well. Michael Mazingo. Addie Patel. Caden Smith. Josh Stroud. Kaylee Taylor. Cadence Thigpen. Lovey Valdivia Tucker. And our adult coaches, Missy Parrott and Jessica Montgomery, and Mr. Philippi. Welcome forward. Do we have a team captain? Nobody said they wanted a recount, so we're going to trust this whole election. Okay, this team has been a dominant team, so let's take the photograph, Mr. Holmes, however you want to line this up.
Well, we need 2 brothers, so Michael, come on up. You guys come on up. So can we get some folks in the middle right here, please? Come on around here.
Mr. Hill.
Superintendent, sheriff's.
knock you guys off. So talk to us just for a second about the process of winning and what this means and any reflections that you have.
Yeah, Michael, you can stand us.
I think you're elected, Michael. We have a budding journalist here. Did you hear that? She's giving me the exact proper thing he's saying. What about your perspective as an eighth grader? She left you. Michael, tell us, what are your reflections? How did it feel? And then we'll What did you learn through the process of the Battle of Books? Because a lot of people here might not realize exactly what Battle of Books is. You want to just give them a little explanation of what it is?
Since when you read books and have to remember exact details to answer questions.
And you can't just have a passing knowledge of the book. It's something detailed that shows depth and understanding of the book. Would you like to add to that, Al? How do you think this is preparing you for the next level and maybe a quiz bowl in high school?
Maybe it's not really preparing us, however, we do get to read books and enjoy them.
Enjoying the book. Love it. Let's give them another round of applause. Great job. Thanks, y'all. So folks, you heard it best there from our young people, the love of learning. And Whittington came out on top. They did an amazing job as they have in the past, but our other schools competed too and did very well. And in these competitions, there has to be a top winner on a top day, but all of our kids benefited from that. We're very proud of all of them, so thank you. Okay, one of the most impressive things our teachers have done during the pandemic era, a time when it would have been easy just to hunker down and do the basics in the classroom, our teachers have never been about that. They've been about excellence, and they've dedicated themselves to that every single day. And writing grants and mini grants is a way for teachers to create from that which is not. Our teachers literally create funding from what was not before. And you look on a school campus and you walk around and you see a greenhouse or you see a solar panel, and it wasn't there before, and the school system has $0.00 in it. Our teachers wrote grants to get that for our kids. And you see the beekeeping project, or you see the outdoor classroom. Whatever projects you see on our campuses, our teachers are writing mini grants for extra funding for instruction for our young people. So we're so thankful for them. Just to give you some numbers, 6 years ago in our school system, we were averaging from all combined sources 58 classroom mini grants. 58. Remember that number. 6 years ago, for all 17 of our schools, we were averaging 58 total, which in a lot of districts would be a brag point. 58 total. Remember that number. There's a quiz at the end. So, as you know, as a school system, we really endeavored to level up each year and to go beyond where we were the last year. Many of our schools have done that. And our top school last year from the year before was Pink Hill Elementary School. Well, we have one school that's emerged this year. We've decided to give an award each semester. So after the first semester, there's a school that has earned quite frankly, almost double what anybody else has earned. They've really taken, whatever metaphor you want to use, the bull by the horns, they've taken the initiative, and they have really dominated with the mini grants this year, and we're so proud of them. And it seems like every day I'm hearing from Dr. Walston, Northwest Elementary School, we got another grant, we submitted another grant. Well, I can tell you, in the grant writing and getting business, one of the main reasons that they're getting so many more grants is they're submitting so many more grants. If you increase the number of grants as a school that you apply for tenfold, then you're going to increase many times, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times the number of grants you actually receive. There's a correlation. You miss every sale that you didn't try to make, and you miss every grant proposal that you did not, you miss getting every grant proposal you did not submit. So I celebrate Northwest Elementary School. Remember, fewer than 60 grants for a school system total just 6 years ago. Well, Northwest this year currently stands, they were so excited, Their goal last year had been $50,000, and they increased their goal, and then they increased their goal again. This year, they set their goal as $100,000, and that was a bold goal for the school. But they've kept on, and they've kept on, and they've kept on, and they've kept on. And by the end of the first semester, teachers at Northwest Elementary School had earned not $30,000, not $50,000, not $80,000, but $124,838.04 in grants. As of tonight, that total stands at $157,252.79 with, remember the district 6 years ago, fewer than 60 grants? This one school for this year has earned 309 grants so far, and the school year's not over, folks. So, at this time, I would ask the top grant winners from Northwest Elementary School. They include Ms. Shalona Newkirk, Rachel Hill, Caitlin Stroud, Connor Potter, and Madison Cottle. Ms. Cottle currently has the highest total for this school year with 27 grants worth $17,471. Congratulations. I believe Ms. Cottle's a first-year teacher, correct? Let me also tell you that Ms. Potter is here. Ms. Potter, Connor was a first-year teacher, and she also had the top number of grants for, she was among the top in the district, and for a long time last year, she had the top number of grants for anybody in the school system. And these were first-year teachers, folks. You know, a teacher in a first or a second year knocking it out of the park, earning grants over and above their more experienced peers. Of course, it's not all competition. We're all in this together. But that's extraordinary effort, right? They laugh when I say we are in this together, but they say, no, it is very much a competition. But you know what? At this level, they're competing against themselves, but they're doing it for the benefit of kids and the betterment of our children. So I do celebrate them as teachers and as human beings. And we have a lot of schools that have doubled and tripled their number of grants for the year. Northeast Elementary School has done that. Kensington High School has done that. Pink Hill Elementary has done that. We have so many schools that are stepping up and just leveling up with their grants. But Northwest is clearly the winner at this point in the year. But as I said, there's a lot of year left, right? So Dr. Walston, I said to her the other day, well, 157 has never been done before by any single school in our district. What are you going to do now? What's the new goal going to be? But at this point, I will ask them to come forward. Congratulations to Dr. Heather Walston and her team. Dr. Walston, if you come forward. Ladies, if you come forward, we'd like... So we have a certificate for Northwest Elementary School for the first semester of the 21-22 school year, being the undisputed champion with many grants for classrooms. And we have a check for Northwest Elementary School, a $500 check for to go right along with those grants for funding. And we'll do that each semester. So $1,000 for the year, which we did last year. We did it for the whole year. We'll do it for each semester this year. But congratulations to you and your team. Congratulations, proud of you. Congratulations. Congratulations, proud of you. So Dr. Walston has a correction. She says the board agenda, which was done on Friday, she says they now are how many thousand, 2,000 above that? 159. Dr. Walston is not competitive at all. But I love it. I'm not competitive. 159,000. That is outstanding. So right at 160 grand for this school year, and like I said, we've got so much school year left. Now, what's really important to note is just a few years ago, I looked back, Northwest was getting between $5,000 and $8,000 a year from all combined sources for mini grants for the classroom. Not a criticism, just a fact. They have leveled up. When you take what you're doing, same people, same school, same situation, and you just put different effort, different value-added contributions into it, you see the results. So I'm so proud of them. Ladies, so proud of y'all. Dr. Walston, do you want to talk about this process just for a second here?
Sure. Well, like Mr. Williams said, about 5 years ago, we were $5,000, and we started spotlighting all of our teachers that won grants, and every year they just did better and better, and we set new goals every year. And this year, I think they were just really excited, and $100,000 was a goal, and when we met it, I think it was at the beginning of November, we met our goal. We were really tickled, and we had a food truck come, and 98% of our teachers have won grants.
We just honored Teachers of the Year. You remember Ms. Newkirk last year was one of our top 3. She was our finalist for Teacher of the Year as well. So a lot of capacity at Northwest Elementary School. Ladies, would any of y'all like to share anything about your journey or what has helped you that might help your colleagues?
I think the biggest thing is Dr. Lawson pushing us to get it. I mean, like, it's a big initiative at our school to do it. And without her, like, and that driving force, I don't think that it would be as big of a thing.
Okay, outstanding. Anyone else? So proud of you. And I think it's great that in first year, and Connor, is this your second or third year?
My second.
Second year. So a first year teacher and a second year teacher. And folks, traditionally, sometimes they're doing the best they can. They're doing a great job, but they're not thinking about the extra stuff. And this is decidedly extra. So we thank you and celebrate you for that. Mr. Hill. The number one priority for our school system, yes, we're about teaching and learning, but before that, the safety and well-being of our students is absolutely our number one priority. A recent medical emergency involving a student at Pink Hill Elementary School showed to all just how seriously LCPS takes that responsibility and how well prepared our teachers are to live up to it. When a student showed signs of extreme distress, the Pink Hill Elementary School staff sprang into action, led by 2 of the ladies with us tonight. EC teacher Amy Taylor and school data manager Megan Barwick. They used CPR. We mentioned this last month, ladies. I don't know if y'all saw that, but we mentioned it last month, but we have them with us tonight. They were honored by the Lenoir County Board of Commissioners. Mr. Harris is with us, our liaison. Thank you, Mr. Harris. Thank you to the Board of Commissioners for honoring these 2 outstanding stars in our school system. But they used the CPR method and the AED there at the school that all of our schools are equipped with to stabilize the student until EMTs arrived. By all accounts, they helped to save the student's life. We thank the volunteer fire department, we thank the EMTs, we thank UNC Lenoir, but most especially tonight, we thank our staff members who responded quickly and appropriately. Now, we all know when things happen, as our kids say, when things go down, sometimes we freeze up and it's hard to know what to do. They reacted according to their knowledge and according to their training. And we thank the good Lord for them and what they were able to do for this child in this very serious health crisis. They made the difference. And we don't just say that, the medical authorities have said that. So we certainly thank them. We're pleased to be able to recognize the heroism of these Pink Hill staffers, and even more pleased to report that the student is out of the hospital, at home, and on the road to recovery. And as I said, our Board of Commissioners did recognize them today. At this time, I would ask, and Pink Hill's principal is going to be with us, Ms. Leanne Hardy, but she's under the weather tonight. So she did send her best, but we would like for these 2 teachers to come forward and be recognized, and we would like, they have family members here with them. We would like for them to stand and be recognized as well, but I'll call them individually. First, Ms. Amy Taylor, if you'd come forward. And next, data manager, and Ms. Taylor is an EC teacher, data manager, Megan Barwick. I'll ask our chair. Ladies, we appreciate you and what you've done. Congratulations. Proud of you. Congratulations, very proud of you. Anything that you'd like to say to the folks about this incident? Was a health incident, so we won't be very specific, we'll be general and just say.
I mean, it was something I would want somebody to do to my child, so, yeah. It was a reflect moment.
It was a living, breathing moment of loving them like they are at home, right? And we thank you for that.
I just want to say too that, Megan and I are here tonight, but there was a huge effort by our staff, not just us. I mean, there were people running everywhere, and, we had students, so people took over our jobs and took care of the kids that we had in our classrooms or in our spots at that time. I joked afterwards, I said, Miss Hardy, whenever you interview people, we need some long-legged runners. So just remember that, principals as you're hiring, but we were very blessed.
Ms. Taylor makes an excellent point. So we weren't there, so we asked Ms. Harvey, she provided us with these two names. But we know in any situation like this, when a critical incident happens, it takes the critical incident response team responding according to their training and the critical incident response plan, people holding doors, people getting children to various places, people reacting, taking care of our other kids, because this was a disruptive situation. It was a frightening situation on our campus, and these are little children, and they were afraid. So our teachers sprang into action and took appropriate action for our kids according to this training. And we had the demonstration in here on CTV month last month, and we talked about the CPR that we did. But they continued that until the volunteer firemen arrived and was able to. They were administering the use of they were using the AED as well, and that's something that would frighten a lot of people to do. They responded quickly and appropriately. So just can't say enough good things about them. But these, like they said, and I'm glad that she was accurate and humble in her statements about her colleagues, from the principals to all the staff there, to the other office staff members, to the other teachers, to the homeroom teachers, to everybody who had a part in it. We do have AEDs in all our schools, multiple AEDs. We're proud of that. And you see the need demonstrated here. But even more important than that, the training for CPR. We're working on an initiative that we'll be making you aware of this year to revive that training for all, make it available to all staff members. Okay? Let's give them another. The North Carolina Technology and Education Society, or NC Titus Conference, was held last week from March 3rd to March 4th in Raleigh. Lenoir County Public Schools is proud to have 10 conference presentations over the two-day state-level conference period. This was more than any other district in the state. Very proud of that. And it's the most that Lenoir County Public Schools has ever earned. We are proud of our team members for showcasing digital learning excellence last week. Mrs. Melissa Lynch will give an overview of these presentations this evening. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report.
Any questions or comments from Mr. Williams? Thank you, Mr. Williams, for your report. I understand no one has signed up for public comment, right? Thank you, Mr. Turner. We will now move to the presentation portion of the agenda. Chair recognizes Mrs. Melissa Lynch for Digital Learning Showcase.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm excited tonight to have Northeast Elementary School here to do a digital learning showcase. We have our digital learning specialist, Ms. Konya Houston, and one of our great Northeast teachers, Ms. Candace Tillman-Rouse, and then two wonderful students as well. So I'm going to ask them to come
That would
up.
be Teacher of the Year finalist, Ms. Candace Rouse.
A girl can dream. Good evening. My name is Konya Houston. I am the digital learning specialist at Northeast Elementary, and I'm also the school level testing coordinator.
Good evening. My name is Candace Tillman-Rouse. I'm a third grade teacher at a proud third grade teacher at Northeast Elementary School, and also the school's current teacher of the year.
And finalist for LCPSNC.
Yes.
Lenoir County Public Schools digital initiative began many years ago. Recently, we added on our elementary coding cohort. Women have made great accomplishments in the areas of education, law, medicine, and government. We have elected our first female vice president, Ms. Kamala Harris. However, women remain underrepresented in the area of computer science and engineering, especially women of color.
A few years ago, I participated in the Lenoir County Public Schools inaugural coding cohort. This cohort has totally fueled my interest in computer science and coding. Since the cohort and working with Ms. Houston, I have learned a great deal about coding and will continue to expose my students to various coding opportunities every chance that I get.
And I watched the movie Hidden Figures, a film about the phenomenal true story of the black female mathematicians at NASA, whose calculations helped fuel some of America's greatest achievements in space. So when asked to create our Northeast Elementary Schools, a club for our Northeast Club Wednesdays, Candace Rouse and I seized the opportunity to groom a league of girls to join the male-dominated field of computer science. So we created our all-girls coding club. Our club, A Girl Can Dream, is focused on coding. Girls can dream of accomplishing great things. Girls no longer have to remain hidden figures.
I also integrate technology into almost every aspect of my daily instruction. I now realize that students can be offered the opportunity of creation and the choice while coding. I'm so proud to be a part of the Northeast-based coding club, A Girl Can Dream, because a girl truly can dream. I've learned so much from these two participants of our club. They've taught me a lot. They lead the club, and they taught Kanye and I so many things. This coding club also exposes our students to various future career opportunities that they otherwise would not have been exposed to. These opportunities are a direct result of the exploration and instruction given to them while participating in A Girl Can Dream. I look forward to the endless possibilities, and I'm truly thankful again to be a part of this entire process.
Northeast Elementary School established each Wednesday as Club Wednesday. Each scholar participates in a club of their interest based on the opportunities created and facilitated by the instructional staff.
We invited girls in grades 3 through 5. 5 girls chose to join us. We are expecting increased interest and growth in the future cohorts that we offer.
Especially when we're standing in the halls during transition and they see our robots, and everybody's like, "Ooh, what is that? You should have joined our club." During our first meeting of A Girl Can Dream, we established our club norms, expectations, and shared values. We identified how information technology and the aspects affects all areas of our lives. Our club norms and shared values are adapted from Coding Girls, a club that was founded by Anna Raduloff. Those values are inclusion, support, empowerment, diversity, courage, teamwork, and making a difference.
So at this time, ladies and gentlemen, we proudly introduce our team. And I'm going to start with Kanye because she's our wonderful DLS. I know my name is first, but she has taught me and the girls so much. So first, I introduce our team leader, Ms. Kanye Houston, our wonderful DLS in Northeast Elementary, myself, Ms. Candace Tillman-Rouse. Tonight, we have with us Ms. Tiara King, and we have who's absent, Zoriana. We also have this young lady, Ms. Shantisha, Lauren, and Mia, who are absent, are also part of our wonderful club. We could not do it without these ladies. They are excellent.
And now we're going to have a few comments from two of our club members who are present today. First, Miss Tiara King is going to share with you.
My name is Tiara King. I am a 4th grade student. I joined the All Girls Coding Club because I know a little about coding. My sister is the coder. She does it for fun, using a robot and iPad that she bought herself. Most people think that computer science and engineer are just for boys, but they are wrong. Girls can be engineers too. We are smart, we are problem solvers, we love to work in teams.
And she really does do a great job
Yes.
leading our scholars as they are solving coding puzzles. Next, we're going to hear from Shantisha Ellison.
My name is Shantisha Ellison. I am a 5th grade student. I joined a girl dream because I want to learn new things. I used Tinker when I was in 3rd grade. In January, we went on a field trip to Kensington to learn about the CTE classes that we can take when we attend high school. In a few years, I was so excited to see that the programming and the computer science is one of the classes. I noticed that the kids used to build the robot look just like the kit that we use in our coding club.
Good job, ladies. So speaking of coding and Tinker, so we begin our coding process using Tinker. Tinker courses comply with 1st through 8th grade U.S. Common Core standards to ensure coding can be integrated into any subject area of instruction. Tinker courses provide students with a solid computer programming foundation. Scholars code JavaScript using block code interface. And if I may also add, when I first began the coding cohort, that's what we started using Tinker. It's very user-friendly because I knew nothing about coding, but I've learned so much. But Tinker is very user-friendly. It offers direct instructions to the teachers and the students.
And it's just simply drag and drop.
Correct.
And then we turn our virtual coding experiences into reality using Dash robots. And the scholars continued using block code and JavaScript. And teamwork, as I told you earlier, is one of the most important shared values. We work together to solve the coding puzzles. And at one point we encountered a string of code that we could not debug. We tried for 2 days and we could not solve that problem. So we reached out to Maria Brand, our LCPS land engineer, and a girl of color who codes. We were able to Zoom in with her, and our girls collaborated with her, and she helped us debug the program that we just couldn't figure out. And she actually came by and picked up one of our Dash robots and fell in love with that robot. So much so, I think that she actually decided to purchase some type of robot of your own. And also, while we were Zooming with Maria, she also shared with our scholars a little bit of her background in computer science.
So we introduced the Wonder Workshop challenge cards to level up scholars' coding skills. So this particular slide that you see, we were down on the floor, we were problem solving, I went down on my knees. But I thank God for these two leaders because they were leading us adults. Mm-hmm. And Tiara said, well, Ms. Rouse, do it this way, we do it this way. We want them to learn through that productive struggle. Mm-hmm. And they learned and they led us as well. So again, this Wonder Workshop Challenge, these are cards to level up the students or the scholars' coding skills through fun, hands-on activities. These coders increase the height and the level of creating puzzles to challenge each other. So once they accomplished one part of the puzzle, then it became more of a challenge and more of a challenge. So they had to work together as a team that collaborative learning to solve the puzzles. And it was one I couldn't figure out. Tiara, she said, Miss, why should you do it this way? I'm like, oh, you got it. So she did an excellent job. So we're now working with UB Tech's Jimu robot kits. With these kits, our girl can build complicated robots that can be programmed to move in complex ways, giving our curious, dreaming girls endless possibilities, which is one of our goals of our club. The robots are controlled by the Jimu app via Bluetooth, either with on-screen controllers or by using a block coding system. And these robots, put them together is not easy. It's a challenge.
It is a challenge. The robot that you see featured here, like I said, we've just started putting these together, but before we presented the challenge to our club members, I wanted to experience it myself. It took me 5 hours to put this robot together. 2 hours one day after work and 3 hours another day. I think I finally finished this one probably around about 10 o'clock. Wednesday night. The coding apps that are used by A Girl Can Dream are all available for download in LCPS self-service. And they're also available for download to most iOS devices and Android devices.
So we were proudly showcased at the 2022 NC Times convention that was recently held in the convention center in Raleigh. A Girl Can Dream was showcased recently at the NC Times. The club members would demonstrate their coding skills also during the spring parent night. And Kanya and Melissa, we were a hit, if I can say myself, at the NC Times.
We were.
People were coming up to our table. We couldn't get anything to eat. We were presenting so much. It was a hit. They absolutely loved it.
And we did have a few people who actually came and stayed a while.
Yes, they came back.
Yeah.
They kept scrolling by and looking and taking pictures, but it was a wonderful experience. It was actually my first time going. I'm thankful to my administrator, Rashard Kerman, and Kanya Houston for allowing me the opportunity to go. It was wonderful.
We had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So our girls at Northeast Elementary will create and innovate while leading in science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. And our girls will no longer remain hidden. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to share.
So before you guys get away, Tiara and Shantisha, I want you to know, and Miss Houston and Miss Tillman Rouse, thank you. Y'all did a great job. But ladies, girls, I've seen thousands of people present to groups over the course of my career. You guys did a great job. It's an intimidating thing to come before a Board of Education. You guys did an outstanding job, and I want you to know that. If your parents are here, thank you to you for sharing them with us. So let's give them another round of applause. Does anybody have any questions for them?
Yeah. Any questions or comments, excuse me, for Mrs. Lynch, Mrs. Houston, Mrs. Rouse, Mrs. Ellison, or Mrs. King?
Or Mr. Kerman?
Okay, no one has any questions?
Well, I will add that our resources that we are using, our robots, were purchased through funding by grants, by Bright Ideas Grants and Lenoir County Chamber of Commerce grants. So we're writing some grants at Northeast Elementary as well.
It is worthy of note, as I was saying before, Northwest Elementary School has tripled their number of grants from last year to this year, and they're just going onward and upward. We're leveling up with the school system, so thank you. I'm sorry?
You said northeast. so-
Northeast is
Yes.
tripling their number of grants. Now, we talked about Northwest earlier, but
Yes.
Northeast Elementary School has tripled their number of grants from last year to this year, and their goal for between now and the end of the year is to go on even beyond that. And they've got the solar panel that they've funded through grants, and they're just going onward and upward. Greenhouse with grants, and they're just continuing to go forward. So we celebrate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Lynch, Mrs. Houston, Mrs. Rouse, Mrs. Ellison, and Mrs. King. This is just another example of how technology is being used in our classrooms to help our students to become more successful. All right, Chair recognizes Mrs. Frances Herring to present a summary of the Laurel County Public Schools National Black History Month recognition.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Board. I'm going to share a brief sampling of the great celebrations in honor of February's Black History Month. The uploaded report in Board Docs is a comprehensive list of every school's celebration. I guess tonight the theme is Northeast Elementary. The third grade students at Northeast Elementary to celebrate Black History Month, I loved this so much, spent time studying notable African Americans from Kensington, North Carolina. The fourth grade at Northeast spent time researching notable African Americans from North Carolina. And my very favorite was the fifth grade. They spent time researching living legends. They had to interview an African American in their own family or within the community to learn their story and their career job of choice. You will see on the wall right there in front of me a continuous fan of KH Black History Month quilt. And I will mention, as you go through the comprehensive list, there are other schools that created quilts as well, but I asked Ms. Green to share that with us so that you all could see it live and in person. Each student chose an influential Black American to complete and decorate a square for the quilt. Students worked together once their square was completed and put them all together to create those beautiful quilts. For middle schools, I chose to highlight E.B. Frank. E.B. Frank Middle School hosted a college fair that featured historically Black college and university institutions. We are showing our students what could be next for them, said Bridget Rouse, English teacher at Frank, who organized the event. The college fair featured representatives from Elizabeth City State University, Winston-Salem State University, North Carolina Central University, Lenoir Community College, Wayne Community College, Livingstone College, Fayetteville State University, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity, Kensington Teens, and Kensington Alumni Chapter of the Delta Sigma Theta Sorority. And please note that all 5 high schools, as you'll be able to tell from your comprehensive list, did a great job of incorporating the celebration of influential African Americans in all subjects, including history, science, English, and math. After you refer to the master list that was uploaded for you all of all of the celebrations, I hope that you will be very impressed. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That concludes our report.
Any questions or comments from Mrs. Herring? Thank you, Mrs. Herring, for that presentation. As Mrs. Herring said, all 17 of the schools are included in your board materials if you had a chance.
And board members, I think you'll be very impressed in looking through that. We'll let you do that at your leisure. But this is just a taste of what our schools have done and are continuing to do. But just so impressed with some of the innovative ideas. And there are things in there that we've not seen. There's some things that we see every year that are great things, like speakers and events and other things, but some innovative things. Like the living history. We've done a little bit of that, but I think our schools went beyond, and I think you'll be impressed with what you see with that and some of the other innovative approaches.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Chair recognizes Mrs. Frances Herring and Mrs. Beverly Key to present a summary of the Lenoir County Public School System Federal Program Monitoring Review.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Board. I'd like to introduce Ms. Beverly Key. She's our Federal Programs Director, and she led the initiative for our Federal Program Consolidated Monitoring Review in early February. And I'm just going to drive her presentation. But Ms. Key, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Herring. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, board members. Our monitoring review was held on February the 7th through the 9th. These reviews are conducted every 4 years. The schools that were randomly selected were Banks Elementary, Lenoir Learning Academy, Southeast Elementary, and Woodington. Each of the following federal programs were reviewed intensely. Title I, Part A, Title II, Title III, Title IV, our migrant education program, and our CSI schools, which are our comprehensive support and improvement. The review process began with the submission of numerous artifacts supporting our compliance through federal programs. On February the 9th, virtual interviews were conducted with the parents, teachers, principals, and central office staff. And the monitoring review concluded with a closing meeting. As you can see here, the rubric that we were rated on for this monitoring review was meets requirement, meets requirement with recommendations, and a finding. And I am so proud to be standing here to inform you that Lenoir County Public Schools has successfully met all statutory compliance requirements in the review conducted by the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction for the 2022 monitoring cycle.
And we see that as a minimum standard requirement. For us it is, but this was similar to a microcosmic version of the comprehensive COGNI accreditation review, but the results were very similar. They told us in the exit conference that it was among the most outstanding ones that they've seen that they've done, reviews that they've done for the 2021-22 school year to date. And we received nothing but commendations and no findings, and we were very proud of that.
That concludes my report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, are there any questions or comments for Mrs. Herring or Mrs. Keith? Okay, thank you, Mrs. Herring. Thank you, Mrs. Keith. I believe that this is yet another example of the high-quality, dedicated, determined, and hard-working people of the Lenoir County Public School System who strive to make all Lenoir County Public School students and our school system as successful as possible. Thank you again. Okay, Chair recognizes Mrs. Francine Herring and Mrs. Stacy Cawley to present an overview of Senate Bill 387 and the science of reading, professional learning for elementary staff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Board. I'd like to introduce Ms. Stacy Cawley, and she will be providing for us tonight an overview of Senate Bill 387 and the statutory requirements that will be unfolding over the next 2 years in our elementary schools. So at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Ms. Cawley. She is our elementary director. Thank you, Ms. Cawley.
Thank you. Good evening. We are going to review the science of reading. This is a quote from Catherine Truitt, our state superintendent, just stating that they appreciate the willingness to diligently lead the way on this monumental initiative, as we know it will change the trajectory for all current and future North Carolina students. So the science of reading, you may have heard about it already. Some key words and terms that you may have also heard would be Voyager Sopris, Lexia, letters, the 4-part processing model, the simple view of reading, Scarborough's rope. But Voyager Sopris and Lexia are the parent company for letters, and they, in letters is the curriculum that will be used to teach us the science of reading, and the science of reading is just that. It is how you learn to read. So it is not a curriculum or program, it is how you learn to read. So why now? What has prompted this? In the U.S., you can see 2015, 17, 19 national proficiencies for 4th graders, 64%, 63%, and this is actually below proficient, so 65%. So it's a growing problem. And in 3rd grade, it's been pretty level with 40.7 non-proficient, 42.3, and 42.7. But we know if we were able to factor in the pandemic time that these numbers would be more dismal. However, reading research says that over 95% of kids are capable of learning to read. So Senate Bill 387 is also called the Excellent Public Schools Act of 2021. It was passed by the Senate on March 31st of last year. They define the science of reading as means evidence-based reading instruction practices that address the acquisition of language, phonological and phonemic awareness, phonics and spelling, fluency, vocabulary, oral language, and comprehension that can be differentiated to meet the needs of individual students. The target group that will receive this training will be educators working with children in the NC pre-K program, and students, teachers for students in kindergarten through 5th grade will participate. This bill also includes law about interventions for students who are having difficulty with reading development, which we already have a wonderful system in place for our interventionists. Utilizing valid assessment measures. We already have some valid assessment measures in place with MClass and DIBELS. MTSS, which is very strong in Lenoir County as well. Reading camps, which you know about our summer reading programs. And the Digital Children's Reading Initiative, which is through DPI, but it's connected to our website. Letters training will provide teachers with an understanding of how students best learn to read, and will provide them with the tools to address reading outcomes for students. So what is the impact? Approximately 30% of students can learn to read pretty much however you teach them. They're just going to have that natural knack of being able to learn it. 50% need an explicit, systematic, and cumulative instruction that is aligned with the science of reading. 15% need that aligned instruction with the science of reading, but they also need additional support and attention, and those would be students who do receive interventions. So the science of reading is actually a compilation of 40 years of research that will give us the how, which is how they learn, the what are the instructional tools that we need, and the way, which is combining those two bits of knowledge to teach our students to read. The letters for teachers will be all homeroom teachers, resource EC teachers, ELL teachers, and one curriculum specialist for each school. That is what's provided by the state. However, Lenoir County Public Schools would like to include more teachers in that training. For example, digital learning specialists who also play a pivotal role in curriculum at their schools. Some of our EC self-contained teachers. It is a 2-year training. It is 8 units and 8 PD sessions. Letters gives teachers the skills they need to master how to teach the 5 essential components of literacy, which are phonemic awareness, phonics, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension, but it will also focus on writing, spelling, and oral language. Units 1 through 4 are theoretical models. Explain the theoretical models from reading science, phonology, basic and advanced phonics, and screening and educational diagnostic assessments. Units 5 through 8, which is the 2nd year of training, focuses on vocabulary, language, and reading comprehension and writing. Administrators also receive training. Their training is a 1-year training. That is a picture of their book. It has 9 chapters and 2 PD sessions. The administrator training is an overview of, it's like a very overview of all of it, of the 2 years that the teachers receive. However, our administrators would like to receive more. They'll receive this training, but they want to go deeper too with what the teachers are receiving. But the administrators' training focuses on managing resources, assembling school leadership teams, developing assessment plans, and making database decisions. And we're very excited that our pre-K teachers will also receive training in letters. The training for letters in pre-K is aligned with the recommendations of the 2008 National Early Literacy Panel. And it will focus on oral language, phonological processing, and print knowledge. It is 1 year and 2 PD sessions. So when will training begin? Our timeline in January, we rolled out basically this presentation, but as an iMovie, to all staff, K-12, just so they would know what everybody would know what we're working on. And then in February, we started selecting training dates. Those dates will be confirmed in April from the company. And we will begin our letters for administrators training in the summer, and then our letters for teacher and early childhood educators will begin about the time school gets ready to start. Do you have any questions?
Any questions or comments from Mrs. Harry or Mrs. Colley? Thank you, Mrs. Harry and Mrs. Colley. Chair recognizes Mr. Brent Williams, Mrs. Frances Harry, and Mr. Nick Harvey to provide an overview of the 2021-2022 school year to date.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is our continuing report on our implementation of protocols in response to the pandemic and how that's going in the school year so far. We are very pleased to tell you, as my two colleagues will share with you, first from the instructional perspective and then the operational perspective, there's so many great things happening. You're hearing about a lot of the instructional things tonight, but also operationally in looking at our case numbers. They continue to decline, our positive case numbers for COVID-19. The implementation of the amended face mask policy with optional face masking is going well, as reported by our principals, and things are going well in our schools. We're having good days of school, and we're very proud of that. Also, as Mr. Harvey will share with you tonight, our air quality initiative, we made some significant progress on that, and our air scrubbers have come in, and including this room right over there, but in every occupied space in our school system, we have endeavored to put these air filters, and they have two HEPA air filters in the top of the filter and the bottom. So the pre-filter, I think they have a total of 3 filters throughout, and very impressive, and they're sturdy, and they're made for classrooms, and we're very pleased by that. Mr. Harvey's going to share some information with you on that. So really making progress on a lot of fronts, not only in response to the pandemic, but having a great school year and making it the most normal year that it can be and successful for our kids. So first, instructionally, Ms. Herring.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Our implementation of our Bridge to Success intervention plan is well underway. Every school has hired interventionists with the sole purpose of delivering quality interventions to students. This has been a major part of our response to the instructional gaps and deficits created by the consequences of the pandemic. The instruction delivered by our interventionists is designed to address student needs and to progress monitor to determine the mastery of content taught within each small group setting. We are administering high-quality assessments to determine the exact skill deficit of each student. Then school teams have assessed the data from those assessments and have designed research-based curriculum and instruction to address each of the students' needs. The students have been grouped by areas of skill deficit. School teams have then created a schedule with designated times for instruction with each student group. I'm pleased to report that our framework of interventionists is making gains in addressing key deficits for our students. Of course, constant monitoring is essential so that groups can be adjusted and redesigned to meet the students where they are as they learn more. The goal is to have a lead interventionist at each school who works directly with the school leadership, other school interventionists, and grade span director to ensure a solid framework. We are continuing to assess our successes weekly and then to the end of the year, a collective measure of our students' skill development.
Thank you, Mr. Harvey.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Good evening, board members. I wanted to take time tonight to thank you, board, again, for your support of our efforts to provide a safe and learning environment to all of our staff members, our students, and our stakeholders. We have recently installed airbox air scrubber units in all of our classrooms, large gathering spaces, and offices. After reviewing several products, the airbox air scrubber unit was chosen for one, its durability, and for its ability to clean large spaces to keep our stakeholders safe. Each, as Mr. Williams indicated, each unit is equipped with a 3-part filtration system: a HEPA filter at 99.9% certified, an antimicrobial filter, and an odor shield filter. We have received very good feedback at the school level, at the district level, with the cleanliness of the air. One important factor about these systems as well, as you can see, they are mobile. So in the event of a crisis, such as a hurricane and classrooms that may find itself with excessive water, we can move these units to a location to clean the air as quickly as possible and not depend on an outside vendor to come and assist with that. So that was another reason why this unit was chosen. As Mr. Williams indicated, our COVID-19 numbers are and continue to trend in a very good direction. Over the past 4 weeks, we've seen our number of positive student cases go from 17, 6, 6, and last week 4. And our staff numbers are headed in the right direction as well. The last 4 weeks seeing 2, 0, 0, and again 0 last week. I'd like to again remind our parents that we still offer COVID-19 testing at our schools for our students and for our staff members, and will continue to do so for the foreseeable future. In facilities, We've begun the process of prioritizing our greatest needs as we formalize our budget for the next school year. We will convene a facilities board subcommittee to discuss our goal and our plans for the next budget cycle, and we also will discuss the status of the Teacher Memorial Site and the next steps in the process that involves our city and our county. This week is Severe Weather Preparedness Week, and all of our schools across the state of North Carolina will participate in the North Carolina statewide tornado drill on Wednesday morning. Additionally, our schools have been provided lesson plan materials by the National Weather Service to teach and prepare our students on what to do in the event of a severe weather crisis. Board members, we are very happy to announce that the Kensington Community Health Center has resumed its in-school dental screenings. That actually resumed today at Kensington Savannah. We are happy that this opportunity is again available for our students that do not have a regular dentist. Information can be found on our website, and thank you, Mr. Holmes, for putting that around the homepage across the top at LCPSNC.org for those parents that are in need of a dental screening. In athletics, we certainly want to thank our LCPS team for an outstanding winter sports season. Our North Monroe High School women's basketball team earned its first conference championship in many years, and the Kensington High School boys team earned a spot in the Eastern Regional Finals this past weekend, coming up just a bit short. We would also like to congratulate Coach Howard Woolley for earning Conference Coach of the Year for women's basketball, Coach Perry Tyndall for earning Conference Coach of the Year for men's basketball, and our students also led the charge with Ashanti Lynch, from North Monroe High School, earning the Conference Women's Player of the Year, and Mr. Jeremy Dixon from Kensington High School earning the Conference Men's Player of the Year. So great job to our winter sports athletes. Our spring sports is in full swing, and we are anticipating fantastic seasons at all of our middle and high schools. And finally, please join me by recognizing our team of outstanding social workers. This week has been proclaimed as National School Social Worker Week. I would like to thank our team for their efforts and what you do for our students each and every day in our school system. That concludes my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And we did sweep those rankings with Coach Woolley and Coach Tyndall, the conference Coach of the Year rankings. And so congratulations to them and our students. And we do thank all of our social workers. Thank you.
Any questions or comments from Mr. Williams, Mr. Herring, or Mr. Harvey?
I have one from Mr. Harvey.
Okay, Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Harvey, what are your projections for your buses and gas?
What are my objections? Oh, projections?
Projections on buses and gas and your budget and the availability of gas for the remainder of the school year.
So we met with Mr. Outlaw last week when we talked about our capital projects. They are feeling the pinch. I think we can sustain throughout this budget cycle, but we will be anticipating this crisis to continue. I think it's around $5 now for diesel fuel, and with rumblings that it may continue to increase, and we'll have to work together with Mr. Adams and the state if needed. But
And then
we anticipate the numbers to continue to rise.
Yep. We know the cost is going to rise, but I'm more concerned with availability.
Right. Haven't heard rumblings yet of availability like we did in the peak of COVID, but we will continue to monitor.
So far, we think availability is going to be okay, but one never knows. But based on what we're being told right now, this was discussed at the State Board of Education meeting last week, and the State Director of Transportation reported to the State Board that the numbers are increasing dramatically, over a 40 cents per gallon increase, just over a 1 week period, week before last. And they're expecting that to normalize at some point, but not really in the very near future. So it is, in terms of funding for fuel for buses, there is a strong likelihood that we will exceed the state, we and every other school system will exceed the state allotment. But what the transportation director reported to the State Board last week is that DPI is working on this and will come out with some guidance and assurances for school systems. And probably what it will be is go ahead and exceed the allotment, and then DPI will work to reallocate funding to make up the shortfall because of this anomaly of increase based on what's going on in the world right now.
Ms. Harvey,
Yes.
one question. I know a few years ago when we had those serious hurricanes, and one of our neighboring districts had an issue with one of the schools that got demolished in the hall area. Are they still recommending that the children get in the halls during the call? I know they're talking about changing that at one time.
That hasn't changed as of yet. Mr. Adams and I actually talked about today what would be best practice, but as of right now, they have not changed that practice.
Okay.
Anyone else, excuse me, anyone else have any questions? Thank you, Mr. Williams, Mr. Harvey, and Mrs. Herring. As I have stated repeatedly, we would like to thank all staff and employees for all of their dedication and hard work for the students of Lenora County Public Schools. Without them, we couldn't make it happen. Chair recognizes Mr. Brent Williams to present the North Carolina School Board Association policies to lead the school policy review.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The North Carolina School Boards Association has submitted policy revisions that you see before you through the Policies to Lead the Schools, PLS, subscription in response to recent legislative action. The policies are submitted tonight for board study with action to be taken at a subsequent meeting.
Any questions or comments from Mr. Williams? Thank you, Mr. Williams. Good, ladies and gentlemen, please review the policy revisions. If you have any questions, please contact Mr. Williams. Chair recognizes Mr. Eric Adams to present, the February 2022 financial report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, board members. The February 2022 financial report summarizes budget and year-to-date activity for all Lenoir County Board of Education funds. Additionally, the report presents the local current expense fund balance as of February 28, 2022. As you have an opportunity to review the report, I will be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions or comments from Mr. Adams?
I have a question. Mr. Adams, what's driving the community services offset there?
I'm sorry,
Community service loss.
in which fund?
Yeah, expenditures.
In all funds?
Yeah.
So that is our child nutrition program, our ancillary cost for child nutrition.
Okay.
State funds 7,000, is that the one? Mr. Woods, is that the one you were referring to?
No, the one I'm referring to is 41,000 lost there in the state fund.
State fund 7,000, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll make sure I was looking at it right.
Any more questions from Mr. Adams? Thank you, Mr. Adams.
Thank you.
Okay, we will now move to the action portion of the agenda. Chair recognizes Mrs. Frances Herring to present the proposed instructional calendar for the 2022-2023 school year.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Last month I presented to you option A of the Lenoir County Public Schools traditional school calendar for the upcoming school year. That was the calendar that received the most votes. You've had a month to review, and I'm respectfully asking tonight that we accept option A as our calendar for the upcoming school year.
Any questions for Mrs. Herring? Thank you, Mrs. Herring. Is there a recommendation or motion pertaining to the 2022-2023 school year instructional calendar?
So moved to approve as
Now, a motion by Mr. Woods, is there a second? Second by Mr. Davis. We have a motion by Mr. Woods and a second by Mr. Davis to approve the 2022-2023 school year instructional calendar as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, chair will call for the vote. All in favor of the motion as stated, please signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Motion carries.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Mr. Charles White to present the contract of services for the wide area network.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, board. My name is Charles White, Director of Media and Technology for Lenoir County Public Schools. For you tonight is the Wide Area Network, or WAN, connectivity contract for Lenoir County Public Schools. The proposal was publicly submitted for the bidding process following the specified guidelines of USAC, the governing body of E-rate. Of the 3 companies that placed the bid, Lumen, also known as CenturyLink, was the lowest overall cost and winner of the bidding process. The contract was reviewed by our school board attorneys and submitted to Lumen for their review as well. Tonight, I ask that the board approve the contract pending any additional legal review of the attorneys with Darrington and Smith, and to move forward with any questions that you might have.
Any questions for Mr. White? All right, thank you, Mr. White. Is there a recommendation or motion pertaining to the contract of services for the wide area network?
Move to approve the contract.
We have a motion by Mr. Anderson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Smith. Thank you, Mr. Smith. Okay, Mrs. Merchant, make sure I get this right. I got a motion by Mr. Anderson and a second by Mr. Smith to approve the wide area network contract pending approval.
It has been formally approved
It
by
has
both
been
parties.
formally approved.
Yes.
Okay, so as presented then?
As presented,
Okay.
yes. Yes,
To
sir.
approve the wide area network contract as presented. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, chair will call for the vote. All in favor of the motion as stated, please signify by raising your right hands. All opposed, same side. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. White. Chair recognizes Mr. Brett Williams for a review of the Lenore County Board of Education face covering policy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you all know, state law SB 654 requires local boards of education to vote at least once a month on whether their face covering policy should be modified. A synopsis of our current face mask policy is face coverings are optional for all students and staff members on Lenoir County Public Schools facilities, with the exception of buses, and then with CDC guidance changes that was dropped on February 25th, 2022. So at this time, do I hear any, is there any discussion or a motion relative to the current policy for face masking?
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Is there a recommendation or motion pertaining to the Lenore County Board of Education face covering policy?
Move to retain the same policy we have now, optional.
Okay, got a motion by Mr. Smith. There's a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Davis. We have a motion by Mr. Smith and a second by Mr. Davis to continue that face coverings be optional for all students, staff, and visitors while in or on all Lenore County public school facilities. Any discussion? Hearing none, chair will call for the vote. All in favor of the motion as stated, please signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Chair recognizes Mr. Harvey to present surplus items.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The attached items are from the Media and Technology Department, and they are submitted for your approval to be deemed surplus and proceeds derived from the sale should be returned to the respective department. So now you have discards, discard computers.
All right, are there any questions, Mr. Harvey? Okay, is there a motion or recommendation pertaining to surplus items? Got a
So
motion
move
by-
to approve the items as presented.
Motion by Mr. Woods, is there a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Smith. All right, we have a motion by Mr. Woods and a second by Mr. Smith to approve the surplus items as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, chair will call for the vote. All in favor of the motion as stated, please signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Is there a recommendation or motion pertaining to closed session?
I move that the Lenoir County Board of Education go into closed session under North Carolina General Statute 143-318, .11 to prevent the disclosure of confidential personnel, to consult with the board's attorney in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege, and to consider matters relating to individual employment and individual employees, and to discuss with the board attorney Superior Court Case 20-CVS-65 Sutherland versus Lenoir County Public School Board of Education.
I have a motion, is there a second? Second by Mr. Anderson. I have a motion by Mr. Davis and a second by Mr. Anderson to move the closed session. Any discussion? Hearing none, chair will call for the vote. All in favor of the motion, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. We are now in closed session. Chair recognizes that the Laurel County Board of Education is back in open session. Is there a recommendation or motion pertaining to personnel recommendations?
Move to approve the personnel report with the addendum.
Got a motion in a second.
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 I was first.
All right.
Ladies
Dr.
first.
Allen, you
I was
Okay.
first on the tree.
We got a motion by Mr. Anderson and a second by Dr. Allen to approve the personnel recommendations and addendum as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, chair will call for the vote. All in favor of the motion is stated, please signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. I don't guess there's anything you can ask. All right, is there no further business to come before this board? Is there a recommendation or motion pertaining to adjournment?
Yes.
Second. Is there a second?
Yes, second.
And a second. Now, the motion by Mr. Anderson and a second by Dr. Outlaw to adjourn the March regular monthly meeting. Any discussion?
No.
Hearing none, chair will call for the vote. All in favor of the motion as stated, please signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Motion carries, meeting is adjourned. Everyone please stay safe.